Okay, welcome back to Uncle Lee. Look, I'm wearing my hat. I remembered. I keep forgetting, actually. Okay, so as always, just if you've got any questions that you would like to ask, whether it be something you just need help with, something you need another perspective on so you can help build your own worldview, whatever it is, just add it in the comments below, obviously as long as it has to do with magic and witchcraft, and I'll add it to the list. So anyway, let's get to this week's questions. Welcome to my channel. You are entering the world of magic and mysticism with your host, Lee W. Johnson. Keep the lights on and help improve the channel by becoming a supporter for just $2.99 per month. Hit the join button. Okay, so this week, let me just move myself back over this side. Hang on a sec. There we go. There we go. This week we have a question from, it's from Alexius Scholius. Thank you for writing your name at the bottom there, because otherwise I have to say user-bt1k, etc., etc., etc. Anyway, thank you very much for another curious video. I've got a question. Let us say you are meditating, trying to build a good foundation for your spiritual practices, offering rituals and say LBRP for cleansing, as well as training on work with Magic Circle, memorizing and practicing opening and closing it. What exercises or practices would you recommend to connect with spirits, exploring spiritual world? Would it be shamanic journey, sleep work, astral projection, clear senses, or something else entirely? Also, I am curious about what different practitioners and you think about spiritual world. Is it all in a person's mind, somewhat atheistic, agnostic view, I guess, or is it somewhere beyond objective reality, more theistic, non-theistic approach? I am sorry if the questions seem to be rather strange. No, not strange at all. Recently my practice has led me to certain very curious revelations and breakthroughs, so now I do not even know what I am anymore as it comes to worldview. Fantastic. Congratulations, by the way. That's brilliant. It really is. Atheist, non-theist, theist, agnostic, gnostic. I just know anybody can kind of believe whatever they wish about things beyond objective reality, spirits, gods, dreams, afterlife. Well, objective reality, all that we can perceive physically, all that secular science studies in time and space, including coincidences, which might or might not be signs from spirits, fruits of successful magic, etc., is the only thing we might be kind of sure about. Okay, cool. Great question, by the way. Questions. And this might take up the entire show, actually. Honest with you. I'm actually going to, let me just switch back so that I can throw myself in the middle here. Okay. Right, so first of all, let's get that right. First of all the practices you're doing, they're great. There's nothing wrong with them. Absolutely nothing wrong with the practices you're doing. They are all going to get you to where you want to be. The question itself was, what exercises or practices would you recommend to connect with spirits, explore spiritual world? Would it be shamanic journey, sleep work, astral projection, clear senses, or something else entirely? All of it, and all of the entirely, something else entirely part as well. Experiment with everything you can possibly think of, and again, record, journal, record your experiences, record what was happening at the time you were doing these things. You know, when you went and did some kind of journey work or guided visualization, what were the circumstances surrounding it? What was the moon phase? What was the weather like? You know, did anything important happen in your day or your life around that time? All of these things can affect you in certain ways, And so record as much as you possibly can, and keep experimenting, keep recording, because it's all important. But what you're doing, all of the practices you mentioned, doing offerings in ritual, LBRP for cleansing, that kind of elevates your vibrational state. Doing magic circles help you with the flow of energy also, memorizing and practicing opening and closing. Yeah, all of those things are great. And also I would add building a relationship. During your offering rituals, for instance, just concentrate on building the relationship itself. You don't need to actually focus on getting a response all the time. I think this might be what a lot of people do. They kind of pick a spirit, and then they sit down and they ask a question that they need an answer to. They kind of want a response. Don't expect anything, and the easiest way not to expect anything is to do something which is not expecting a response or requiring a response. So don't ask any questions. Don't ask for advice. Don't ask for help. Don't ask for anything. Just do the offering, say good morning, and say, let's get to know each other. And then what I like to do, mention it a few times, is make a cup of hot chocolate. And I'll either make two, or I'll just spill some of my hot chocolate into a libation dish or something like that as an offering. And then I'll just sit down and just talk. I'll tell the spirit about my day. I'll say I've got this problem that's really bugging me. I'm trying to come up with a solution. And just through that talking, usually I come up with a solution to my problem. And I kind of give the spirit that I'm talking to credit for that, because I want to build that relationship, that two-way street, but I don't expect anything back. So really just keep doing that, is just talk, don't expect anything back. But obviously at some point you've got to stop talking and just listen. But again, don't expect anything. Don't expect a response. Just allow it to come when it's supposed to come. So this is why, again, meditation is important, to know that you can actually just sit quietly without doing anything, without expecting anything. Just sit, and that's it. So you talk, and then you just sit. And if you get a response, fantastic, you get a response. If you don't, cool. You've had some quiet time, you've had some time where you've been able to relax, where you've been able to sort of calm your mind down and everything else. So, don't think of it as wasted time at all. It's very, very valuable time. And if you keep doing this, eventually you're going to get a response. The spirit is going to talk back. You'll probably find that when they do, they've been talking back all that time. It's just that it took a while for you to understand how that communication works. And that communication may differ from spirit to spirit. So, in the beginning, you might not hear, you've been doing spirit work for a while. Usually if you have been doing spirit work for a while, it kind of comes easy. But you may find that when you start working with a new spirit, it takes a while for that two-way communication to come through, because that spirit may communicate differently than what you were used to, for instance. So, again, don't expect anything, suspend all expectations, and just do. Just do it, and then sit quietly. Use that time for meditation, without any expectation. And then when you get a response, it's fantastic, it's wonderful. Okay, so that really is, that would be my kind of go-to practice or exercise that I would recommend, is just building a relationship. And that's what it is all about, is building relationships. Okay, so the second part of your question there, I'm curious about what different practitioners and you think about the spirit world. Is it in a person's mind, or is it somewhere beyond objective reality? Yes. That's it. Both. Is there a difference between a person's mind and objective reality, beyond objective reality? Is there a difference between the microcosm and the macrocosm? Is there a difference between your own body and the entire cosmos? We may think there is, because, that's how we interact with the physical world, and that's how we have to interact with the physical world in order to get through our day, in order to, kind of function in our day-to-day life. But this is when you have to start exploring the mysteries. This is when you have to start opening the doors and throwing yourself through the door and actually experiencing the mysteries. There's no way of explaining it. It has to be experienced. I'm going to go off on an explanation, and it probably won't mean anything to a lot of people. For some people, they may go, "Oh, yeah, I know, I understand," but they don't. I don't understand half of it, mostly. I kind of know what it's all about, and certain things I've been able to grasp, but other things I haven't been able to grasp. I'm still exploring it. I always will be. I think everybody always will be. There's no end to it. But, when it comes to the mysteries like this, is there a difference between a person's mind and what's beyond it? Is a person's mind the entirety of the cosmos, the entirety of creation? Are we different from each other? Are we connected? Is our, Jung spoke about the collective consciousness. What does that mean to you? What does that mean to society in general and people in general? Are you and I different people, or are we the same person? Are we just different selves of a larger body? All these things you've got to start questioning, and this is what comes into this whole aspect. And it's great to question, and like you said, you've had revelations and breakthroughs, and that's completely and utterly screwed up your worldview, and that is fantastic. It's painful. It's incredibly painful to go through the process. But all of those questions and everything, and then realizing, oh crap, that worldview does not suit me anymore. But it might suit somebody else. So, everybody's worldview is different. This is what we keep saying. There is no absolute truths. There is, probably objective reality. But objective reality can be many, many, many things. Everybody has their own reality. Everybody has their own personal worldview. And it's going to differ some way or another with everybody else's worldview. So, the spiritual world, let's think of this in terms of the underworld. What's the underworld? If we consider two realms here, the physical world and the underworld. The underworld would be, the physical world, this physical world, my skin. I can touch it. I can tap the desk. I can point to you on my camera. These are all physical things. And this is all the shell, the husk, the clip-off. This is what it is. This is just the shell. It's not actual reality. I still need to find proof of it. But I do believe that science has even said that our vision is only two-dimensional, and there are no colors. There are only shades. And what happens is, everything's two-dimensional, but we see it as three-dimensional because when the vibrations of the reflected light actually hit our eyes, that all gets translated in our brains, and that's what we see is this three-dimensional thing with colors and shades and everything else. But in reality, it's all two-dimensional, and there are no colors. There's only shades to things. So it's all just interpretation of the brain anyway. As I said, I'm not absolutely sure. I read that somewhere. I still need to find proof of it, but I thought it was interesting. But even to that degree, what is reality? What is this physical world? Is it really what we think it is? And then we start going into the metaphysical. The comparison of the microcosm with the macrocosm. Our body, just our body, is an entire cosmos, and everybody's body is the cosmos. Are they different cosmoses? Who knows? I don't think so. I think it's all the same cosmos. It's just that we relate to different things as different people, different experiences of the same aspect. if we, I was talking about the underworld. So we have the physical world, which is the shell, the husk, the illusion, the Maya, if we can put it that way as well. And then we have the underworld, and the underworld is beneath the skin. So it's beneath the skin of the rock, beneath the skin of a leaf, beneath the skin of ourselves. So when we talk about moving to the other or underworld, it's also termed the other world, and it's also termed the inner world. And that's where I come up. I like to use the term the inner temple, moving into the inner temple. So when I do some kind of journey work or guided visualization or something like that, where I go into my astral temple, etc., I will move inwards. I'll move into the center of myself, because that's the center of the cosmos. That's the center of all things. And everybody's center is the center of all things. And this is where Albert Villoldo in Shaman Healer Sage, he spoke about the concept that the Incas had of the 9 energy centers, not just the 7 chakras that the Western people, referring to the Hindu or the Kundalini texts, or the tantric texts that talk about the chakra system. We talk about the 7 chakras. There's obviously more. There's a lot more, but we talk about the main 7 chakras within the body. The Incas talk about 9. So above the crown is the crown is the connection between ourselves and our higher self. The 8th chakra, which is kind of a arm's length above us, that then becomes the connection between our higher self and divinity. And then we have the 9th chakra, which is in the center of all things. Where is the center of all things? Everywhere. The center is all things. And if we look within the microcosm, which is ourselves, then we move inward into the center of ourselves. Okay, where's the center of gravity within your body? Where is your lower dantian? This is where the battery, all the energy in Qigong gets stored, and what's that? Taoist Buddhism? Not Taoist. Zen Meditation. I'm forgetting words again this week. In Zen Meditation, they focus very much on the belly, expanding and contracting the belly, breathing into and breathing out of the belly itself, and that's the lower dantian. In Qigong, you move all of the qi, all of the power, the energy into the lower dantian, where you store all that power like a battery. So you come into the center, and that's the center of everything. It's the center of the cosmos. So where is the spiritual world? I ask you. Ha ha ha. Turn the question and give it to you now. Right, I think that actually covers this week's Ask Lee. I think we're about roughly 20 minutes done, so that was a great question. I absolutely love that. I love exploring it, and I love talking about it, because as you talk about it, you kind of realize things, and you learn from discussing it, really. So it's a great thing to actually talk about it, discuss it with other people, get their ideas, get their perspectives and their worldviews. Try and figure out what they actually mean when they talk about these things. Where is the spiritual world? What is the spiritual world? Is it just a creation of your own mind? Yes. Is it apart from your mind? Yes. It's all things and no thing. It is the omnil. It'll probably confuse you more now, but that's good. You've got to keep questioning yourself and challenging your own worldview. You really do. And yeah, I'm going to leave that there today. And thank you for the question. Really, it was great. I love this one this week. Okay, so have a good one. And remember to leave your questions in the comments below, and I'll get to more next week. Have a good one for now. Cheers. Bye-bye.